Fusion Mobile, quality e-learning experience on the go.
The concept of power. Power can be defined as the capacity to affect another's behavior by the threat of sanction. This sanction is used if there is non-compliance, which means that when there is obedience to a given authority or a rule, there is no need for sanction. We have forms of power. The first that we have is that which we call political power. Political power is the power derived from the people and the constitution. This is the power which the elected president or the prime minister of a state enjoys. When we elect officers into the government, the power which they enjoy by the votes which we have given them to rule us is that which is called political power. Number two, we have economic power. Economic power is the power which someone who is in possession of economic resources enjoys, because this individual who has possession of these resources could use such to influence issues in a state. He can also command respect and has the ability of controlling people's emotion, their actions, and their behaviors. Anyone who has this power is said to be enjoying economic power. Number three, we have military power. This is the power which the armed forces enjoys by controlling the instruments of violence in a country, which can easily be manipulated to overthrow a civilian government and for the defense of the state against aggression from the outside. The next one is physical power. Physical power is the application of force in compelling obedience, whose outcome could bring discomfort or even a disastrous end. So when someone applies force to ensure people to obey his commands, this person is using physical force, because in a bid to ensure compliance to these laid down rules, the people involved may grudgingly obey, since they are faced with sanction if they disobey. So physical power brings about discomfort, or it can also even bring about a disastrous end, which pays no one any good. Having looked into power and its forms, we will look into the sources of political power. By sources, we mean, how does one get political power? Does the person get it from heaven? Or is it been given to him by individuals around him? Or does the person go to somewhere and gets the power and uses the power to do what he wants to do? We would know from our discussion where and where is political power derived. Number one, we have the Constitution. The Constitution, as we know, is a document which stipulates the laws of how a state will be governed. The Constitution specifies how power is to be acquired and exercised. Through elections, power held by the people is transferred to a body of people called government. So the first source of political power is the Constitution. Number two, we have coercion. Power may be acquired through the use of force. Example, the military. Most developing states in Africa and Latin America have experienced change of government through coup d'etat. If we could recall, before Nigeria's democracy of 1999, we had the military in the affairs of leadership of this country. And we could see that in this military regime, that power was transferred from hand to hand through what we call coup d'etat, where a set of military personnel will come and fight against the ruling military personnel. The fight at which, if it succeeds, removes the seated military head of state from power, bringing in the new person who led the coup. So this is a way of political power. The next one we have is charisma. Power can be acquired through intelligence, religious prowess, or personal excellence of an individual. Example of people who enjoys these are the pastors, imams, the priests, the bishops, etc. The fourth point is inheritance. Power here is based on heredity and mostly with the royal families. Power is transferred from generation to generation, in that when a leader dies, the next person who is the heir to the throne becomes the next leader. So this usually happens in a monarchical system of government, where power is transferred from one generation to another. So power can be acquired through inheritance. Number 5, we have position of authority. Authority and power are complementary. So position of authority confers power on the person exercising it. Just as we have in our states, our president, in the person of Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, is exercising power to govern and to be the #1 citizen of this country because of his position. The power which he is exercising is as a result of his position of authority. So we have looked into the concept of power. We have seen the types of power. We have seen the sources of power. Now we are going into the next concept, which is the concept of authority.